Hello friends. So today I'm recording my time capsule video for patch 3.19. Unfortunately I didn't actually get to play 3.19 a ton, so this is gonna be potentially disastrous. Because I only have one Sirus set and well, I just didn't get a chance to play a ton, so I haven't fought him since now. The eagle-eyed among you will notice that I am not, in fact, in Kalandra. I am, in fact, playing on standard. That is because it is literally the night before Forbidden Sanctum launches. So, go me, I guess. But yeah. So let's go kill Sirus for the first time. And we're starting off strong by forgetting my life flask. But since I am a softcore player, we're just gonna go with it. So overall, like I mentioned, Kalandra did not get to play a ton, unfortunately. I built a fairly standard Slayer Boneshatter character whose main defining feature is that I'm using the Kaom spirit unique gloves. Basically what they do is they, as mentioned, turn off life regen, so you can see like I'm slowly taking damage from various life tap abilities. And in exchange for that they give me rage, and so rage lets me use berserk much more frequently than otherwise you would have been able to. So this mechanic has generally been used in the past for things like Chainbreaker. Very powerful, like the sort of the Slams Impaler era, like everybody built a bunch of mana regen jewelry and then did Chainbreaker, but you can see it regenerates very quickly because I have invested heavily in that. So I'm doing that instead of some other stuff which I'll go over when I actually do my tree. So let's go die to Sirus a bunch and look like a complete doofus, because I'm rusty as hell and haven't had a chance to play the game a ton. So yeah, so Slayers, defining feature is that, you know, Boneshatter does a bunch of self-damage, and so for first phase of this fight, you've seen me do a bunch, just very much like, you punch Sirus, yay! Being melee, I have to place at least one totem to do any sort of damage at all. And so in this case, Ancestral Protector totem. Ancestral Cry basically just gives my Boneshatter AoE capability, which is nice. Or more AoE ability, I should say. And then Leap Slam for traversal along with Frostblink. So he's gonna come down, so we have to preload our totem because we're melee and we have to play totems. Now we press Berserk this time, right? And so you see now I'm bigger and angrier and, in general, able to do more damage. And so you can see when I'm fighting, like, it lasts a very long time and will come back very quickly, right? Like, I'm going to... Oh, that was almost awkward. I'm going to... I have Berserk back already, right? Like, and my cooldown wasn't even back yet. Oh, I've been forgetting to use Blood Rage as well. Like, jeez. This is just a mess. It's a whole thing. Shameful. Shameful, I tell you. So this time we remember to use Blood Rage, and we... Oh, hello, cat. Hi. Aww. Oh gosh. Okay, this is pretty funny. Oh. Okay, well, we go over here. all molten shell at some point when things get really bad. Okay. So my cat has joined me. You can probably see the little ears perking up next to the microwave. Or the microphone. Oh my gosh. There's only one of these, and so I'm only getting one take, but gosh. This is, yeah. Work was exciting this league. So Boneshatter's big thing is it does ramping damage.
Feel the thrill of the force.
Oh my god. I'm gonna die. Oh, I should have, you know, that would very much have been a, like, if, like, obviously I am not playing this character in hardcore, but that would have absolutely been a, like, very clear, log the heck out, you absolute doofus. Yay, I can't believe that was deathless. So this build is very good. Oh hey, that's cool. It actually dropped the belt that I'm using. So we can talk about that. So anyways, that was Sirus, killed with a 319 character. You can see.
I'm truly sorry. It had to be.
Yeah. Anyways. So talking about the build itself and sort of the character and some specifics. Hi cat. We have, you basically build yourself a big stick. This is an approximately 820 DPS mace. It hits things good. I like it a lot. This one was fun to make. I made it myself. I got the fractured base and then did all the crafting, and it was all in all very satisfying. That was sort of the one sort of fun accomplishment of the league. Helmet wise, you can start to see what I'm doing here. We have recoup, which is used to counteract the self damage from my main attack, and then just Fizz taking his cold, like that's just always a very good defensive layer. And then note that here, like, life regeneration rate and life regeneration flat both translate to rage, right? As you can see, so I like go back up to rage very quickly. I actually regenerate 11 rage per second with this character, which is why my Berserk just lasts a really long time, right? So because this character uses a 200 weapon, obviously no offhand, and then we start to get into jewelry. This is just a generically very good neck. In a real version of this build, this would be allocating Panopticon to make my Ancestral Protector totem better. I would also have Vol Ancestral War Chief and multiple totem support, and the totems would be a much bigger deal, a much bigger part of the build. But again, this is the fake scuffed version of the build. So just life resists, damage while leeching, because I'm a Slayer, I'm leeching all the time. Flat Fizz, attributes to solve gem problems. Yay. Chest. So this has the defensive aura that this build uses is Determination, and then we have flask effects combined with auto flasks. So that's always nice. And then again here we are leaning heavily into wanting flat life regeneration, and the nice thing on this one is, okay, kitten, I will hold you and pet you while I talk. We'll see if maybe you stop trying to chew on the monitor. The nice thing about this is the gain onslaught for 6 seconds when hit. So pressing Boneshatter counts as a hit. So I just have permanent onslaught when I'm punching things, which is neat. So Lake of Kalandra's big thing was the sort of lake being able to generate jewelry that is above and beyond. This is not one such example. This ring is just a nice sort of generic one, a bunch of resists. You can see I attributed it up, and then we have non-channeling skills have -7 because I'm a slayer and don't have a ton of mana regen. So just generic fixing resists here, like trying to get positive chaos resistance. Here's the one that I was actually thinking of. So you will notice that the numbers on this are very large, right? We have a massive flat fizz roll, we have over 1,000 accuracy rating on a single item, and 150 flat life. That's because those rolls were essentially doubled, right? And so this is a 3 mod ring for all intents and purposes. But those mods are 2x, and those are the mods that I really care about. So yeah, that is sort of Lake of Kalandra's gimmick. I was very excited to find this because this ring, in conjunction with a couple of points on the tree, single-handedly allows me to use precise technique. Then we have the Kaom's Spirit. These were a new unique introduced this patch from a community creator called Iron vs. Wild, who seems to be a really cool guy. And these are neat, right? Like, they give you leech, so that you, as long as you're fighting stuff, you can get health back, and then it turns all of your life recovery into rage recovery, and you get this sweet mechanic where you have permanent berserk. Which is just neat. The other unique, and the thing that we got from Sirus here, which was very sort of apropos, is the Burden of Truth. So this belt is really cool, and I am, like, obviously the belt slot has a ton of competition. Like, there's Mage Bloods and Headhunters and all of this other stuff out there. Burden of Truth is really neat. Basically what happens is you get your flask is bigger and applies to your energy shield. So Supreme Decadence, you can see life recovery also applies to energy shield. So you counteract effectively the sort of downside of Supreme Decadence. And then it pushes some of the damage that you take onto energy shield. And this is really nice because, as you can see, when I'm berserking, I can get up to like a decent number of Boneshatter stacks, and I don't, like, unlike the really deep delve builds, I don't have full recoup or anything. And I don't have life regeneration like normally a Slayer would have. Oh my god. Oh, this video is incredibly scuffed. Okay. Cat just knocked over a glass that was thankfully empty. So basically, like, Boneshatter is doing a ton of damage. Burden of Truth is a way that I can just sort of not hoo-woo myself and kill myself on a boss. And then just very nice boots, right? Like 40 move speed, life regeneration rate, which is effectively rage regeneration rate, life, flat rage, like good resists. Like, you can't ask for better. Beyond that, just your standard instant CB flask. I think this character is actually immune to CB now, if I remember correctly. Because I got a late. Yep. so anyways, yeah, like I got a late round upgrade and am immune to CB, and you get like a sneak preview of what's to come. And then just very much your standard basalt, jade, quicksilver, granite, like, and then like increased armor, attack speed, evasion rating, and curse effect reduction. Like, this is just like every hardcore player under the sun runs a setup more or less like this, right? Just as much defense as you can get out of your flask as possible, procced as frequently as possible. And as you can see, like, very much I leaned heavily on being able to just walk into things with my face on this character this league. In terms of skills, so we have a cast spell damage taken set up, just cast spell damage taken molten shell, pretty standard, and then Warlord's Mark with improved duration, or increased duration. This is one of the ways that we get rage. So basically, just when you're out and about, right, you hit yourself with Boneshatter, and cast this very cheap Warlord's Mark out onto an enemy and just get a bunch of rage. So basically, it's just like a ton of rage. Arrogance Precision. You can see I've got some life reduced here. This is basically just because it wouldn't have fit on mana. Well, and you really you don't want. Particularly when you're casting a whole bunch, like I wasn't able to make Boneshatter completely free, because I had to use resistance modifiers here rather than mana, and then so this like, if I'd been able to make this like non-channeling get -9, then Boneshatter would have been free, and like maybe different story as to whether or not I need to put it on precision. But basically, you need precision in conjunction with the accuracy here. Because I'm using a keystone called Precise Technique, where my total accuracy has to be higher than my life to get a bunch of damage. Moving down to the gloves, we have Determination. Shocking absolutely no one. It's 319. You still need defensive auras. This one, you know, since I'm a Slayer, like, gives you a bunch of armor. Pride. I'm doing physical damage. Sweet. Okay. This increases physical damage. And then we have Berserk. This is what the build is built around, you know, even if I was bad at using it. But just getting a nice Berserk. I was trying to get an anomalous version of Berserk, but never quite hit. So just ended up using this one. And then War Banner, just more damage again. Technically, I was supposed to be placing this during the fight, but I forgot. Like, you can see, like, this was a league, okay? And so it's really sort of a tribute to this character that it was able to do as well as it did in that fight, given how badly I was piloting it. So in the boots, this is where we have our sort of generic movement around, like as you're moving around in maps, right? Like you are berserked. You are jumping around and losing life gradually, and then you also typically you have onslaught when you're zooming around. So you are going very quickly. So you don't want to be paying attention to whether or not you have mana to use Leap Slam. So that's why we just put it on life tap. Same with Ancestral Cry. It just lets me put it on left click and get a bunch of AoE. In terms of Helm. We have Blood Rage and Frost Blink. Like these don't need to be linked. These are just there for. This is where it was easy to color. But Frost Blink, you saw me using a bunch. Chills the area. Useful for repositioning without stopping using Boneshatter. So you're punching something. Yay! Like I'm punching. They move. You Frost Blink on top of them and keep punching. And then Ancestral Protector with Maim. So Ancestral Protector gives you a absolute truckload of attack speed and is mandatory on any build that wants to punch things in the face with a physical weapon, pretty much. And then Maim just makes them take more damage. Our main link, we have Boneshatter. So this particular Boneshatter is the alt quality, reduces the enemy stun threshold, which in conjunction with my big, medium-sized stick. I don't get to claim big stick, I don't think, but it's a stick I'm happy with. In conjunction with the mace and some other talents that I've taken on the tree, it is very likely that I will stun things, and Boneshatter really likes stunning things. So basically, it emits this like big shockwave. What the heck? We can just like go to blood aqueducts, and I will show you the like. Boneshatter is by far one of the most satisfying melee skills you will ever play. It is just absolutely like kudos to everyone involved in making this ability. It is incredibly satisfying. So, actual like you see like the screen just sort of explodes, right? Like everything is emitting bones. There's like big satisfying crunchies, and like I guess Blood Aqueduct, nothing's gonna stay alive long enough for me to like, but yeah, you can see, right? Just like incredibly satisfying visceral, like I've got this, I've got like, endurance charges, frenzy charges, the whole 9 yards, just, it's great. Very, very satisfying, 10 out of 10. If you want to play a melee skill, well, they introduced some new Vol skills, but yeah, basically like just Boneshatter is the way to go. You cannot go wrong with Boneshatter. It's very nice. Yeah, so was walking through the sports. So we have endurance charge and melee stun. This is again like another way that we are lowering the stun threshold of stuff so that we can continue to punch it in the face, and Boneshatter is guaranteed to go off and do its thing and get the explosion. Because that shockwave is what gets us all of the wonderful effects. We're a Slayer, we don't get Fortify automatically, we have to actually pay for it. But it's a good support. Put it in your gem links, yay, like you're more durable, you do more damage, can't ask for much more than that. Ruthless. Again, just standard strength support gem. Try punching, you can see I don't even have 2120 gems, like this character was, yeah. I did, oh, yeah, that's right. I did get some awakened gems before we had to stop playing. But you can see they're only level 3 and they're not level 5, like a lot of shame going around here, but just brutality. Pretty standard, like you do more damage, yay. Likewise, awakened melee fizz. These technically have secondary effects when you get them to level 5, which is why it's sort of shameful that they're not level 5. But yeah, anyways, let's go back to the hideout, and I will show you the tree. So, first things first, let's look at Ascendancy. Every Slayer loves this, you know, just Life Leech is not removed when you cap out at full. Life Leech is essentially sort of like a rolling mechanic, but if you don't have this, when you get to full, your other leeches are removed. This allows it to just sort of be this like big pool of additional over health recovery that is hanging out on your character, so that when you take damage, whether it be from Boneshatter or something else, that leech is there to fill in the gap. This just makes melee feel nice and comfy to play. A bunch of accuracy, which makes our precise technique work better, and then a bunch of AoE. So just the reason that I was like clicking once and like most of the screen exploded is because of impact. And then we have the Slayer special. This is like what makes Slayer truly unique. When you kill, you do more damage. So the flask that I forgot for that fight was something. Where do I? Oh right, I'm in standard, as you can see. So all of my flasks are hiding. Oh gosh. And lent me this at the end of the league. You can see that this league I ended up with a lot more currency. It had some lucky fusing luck with my stuff. But yeah, this build doesn't actually... It can use Headhunter, like, but you don't really want to bother. Oh, I forget what I was doing. Oh well. Anyways, back to this. Oh right, Worm Flask.
I cannot do this just yet.
Gear swaps. Yes, right thing jar. So basically what this does is this acts as an instant health flask and also spawns worms for you to kill. There's a very famous rip from the person who built this build, a guy called Kalandra, or he popularized it anyways. Modulo the terrible changes that I have made to make Kaom's spirit work, which are mostly my fault with the help of some friends on the internet. But anyways, basically like you spawn worms and then you kill the worms and the worms activate your killed recently effect, and so you do more damage and are generally happy. And then this is the last one. This is the other thing that makes Slayer unique. It has 20% Culling Strike built in, so that's why Sirus just sort of fell over near the end. And then yeah, as you can see, like when you kill stuff, you get additional attack speed and move speed, so I was missing a lot of my bonuses for Sirus. Berserking is the annoying, like, you know, it is sort of, like, I theoretically could have used more points, but I'm only 95, because again, didn't have much time to play this league. So you've got, you know, the increased attack speed, and then maximum rage. Like, normally this is 40, I think, is the baseline. And then I also have Replica Conqueror Efficiency, increasing. Like, this jewel is actually about to get fairly valuable because it's being removed from the game, but this reduces the mana cost of my abilities substantially, makes things last a little longer, and then also gives me additional maximum rage. So, again, it just hangs out, and like the bigger your pool, like the longer it will hang out in this state before eventually draining down. Like, Berserk has aggressive scaling on its drain so that you can't get permanent Berserk. So this effectively gets permanent Berserk because the cooldown, by the time the cooldown is up, like, I have enough rage to press that again. What was I in here for? There was something else I wanted to... oh, right, I was gonna pull out the other... So this was another thing that I got at the end of the league that you can see I haven't even... So this was the perfect fracture. So the big thing about 319 crafting, so the Lake of Kalandra existed and was a mechanic, and like it wasn't for me. It was the thing that allowed this jewelry to exist. That was pretty neat. There was some dreams of some like really cool jewelry you could make that in practice, even on Trade League, were hard to satisfy. But so I got a perfect base. So this is it's a Fractured Dictators, and then I've been spamming essences on it. You can see I hit Celebration here and was trying to figure out what the heck to do with it. And really, because honestly, like, I don't want to compromise, the answer here is to roll over it and keep trying for tier 1 increased fizz, which would make the, you know, this one is 198 total. Tier 1 fizz would make this like 280-ish, I think. So it will just be, it will hit very, very, very hard, and that's the reason that like the stick that I'm wearing is only a medium-sized stick, as opposed to a big stick. So this was the big stick that never actually got to be a truly big stick. Pathing wise, so if you have ever seen a character that does physical damage in PoE and starts as a duelist, like, this is going to look very, very, very familiar, right? Like, you path out through attack speed nodes, you pick up life. This is two-handed. Here, like, we've got life leech. So life leech is very important for us because we are using Kaom Spirit, but we can't use Volpact. So ordinarily, Slayers would have Volpact, but because I'm using Kaom Spirit for the rage goofiness, doesn't work. Just path over here for some life. Again, like, the next points on this character were this character to get them would have been a bunch of spell suppression on the tree, right? Again, because we're using Kaom Spirit, we can't use the free 12% from the mastery here, but this wheel is just very good and would massively increase my survivability. Other than that, just picking up life nodes. Again, I mentioned Panopticon. So in the version of this build that is actually good, you pick up this stuff here, and that means that in conjunction with that, you have Ancestral Protector Totem, and then that would summon 2 totems, who would be buffed by Panopticon and Ironwood, so they would be much more durable than the totem that I had, and would hit harder, and then you would also use Vol Ancestral War Chief to give you 5 fizz. And the combination of those things would mean that you would just have like 3 totems instead of 1 when you're fighting a boss. You do a bunch more damage that way, and like the flat fizz obviously is nice. Back to pathing around. So this is just your standard, like, it's nice to have additional attack damage, and it's nice to ignore some of the armor involved, right? This is when you're fighting bosses, like, because this just sort of vaporizes rare mobs out in the world. Like, you want stuff that does a bunch of damage with 2 weapons, and, like, you hit bosses harder. This little wheel here is Tribal Fury. This is actually one of the things that is getting changed in the patch, and the reason that I am making this incredibly scuffed version instead of recording at a different time, because this wheel is changing substantially. So, strike skills target 1 additional nearby enemy will become a mastery, so it's something that you have to select in here, and then you can see this, strike skills which target additional enemies can do so from 30% further away. That means that stuff from Ancestral Cry will sort of spider out from me in all directions and find enemies from further away. And that's very valuable because it means when you're clearing, you get a lot of overlap from the shockwaves, because, like, the Boneshatter hits another enemy and they both get stunned and they both emit a shockwave, and the shockwaves shotgun things, and it's really nice. We have this wheel here. Aura effect is always good. Reservation efficiency is good. And then Bannerman, like, again, I didn't plant my banner. I should have planted my banner. Like, beyond that, max res. So I'm max cold right now because I was delving. But this is just, like, basically whatever max res for the fight that you're fighting. I think Sirus, technically I'm supposed to be max lightning. And then you can see here I've just got 12% chaos. That was, most of the time, it was CB immune because I didn't have this jewel. Yeah, another 2-handed wheel. Increasing physical damage. This one's particularly important because it's got stun duration on there, and so Boneshatter scales with stun duration. If I had another point and I wanted to spec into more damage, the 3% to deal triple damage is really nice as mastery. Here's the other place that we're getting our accuracy. In versions of this build that are not scuffed, this will not be there, and this will probably, debatably, will not be there. And then, like, you'll take these nodes from Marauder. But yeah. And then moving sort of up the left side of the tree, Call to Arms. That's how Ancestral Cry is instant. Life, maximum life. You'll notice that we're not taking the 10% increased max life, reduced life recovery rate. Again, that's because it messes with our rage regeneration. We have a mace wheel. So this mace wheel increased stun duration. Again, same reason, like, we're trying to get the shockwaves as effectively as possible, and when we do stun things, stun it for a long time. And so this is basically, like, when we hit a pack in the outdoor world, like, we are almost guaranteed to stun it, is more or less what this reads. So this is our determination reservation and how we get endurance charges. Boneshatter hits ourselves, and here, like, we have a 1 in 4 chance of getting an endurance charge when we're hitting. So as long as we're fighting, we have 4 endurance charges. Just your standard life. We got a jewel. So this Watcher's Eye is, like, mid-tier, I'd say. It's nice, obviously, but it's not, like, the really good ones, which are 2 additional impales, or would have a third mod that was like, well, affected by precision, do something awesome. Like, don't have that yet. But physical damage reduction, well, we have determination on. Determination's one of our major defensive auras, and then just a chance to impale enemies with pride, and, like, just a little impale chance goes a long ways because we're hitting so frequently. Max endurance charge, this is just, in general, like, if you can get a max charge, you probably want to. Life wheel. I have this one clicked over one of the 6% nodes because the resists are, I'm going to phrase it as soft core. Let's see. But yeah, like, I guess I don't technically need it in, like, you can see I'm cheating here. Like, without, I don't even have lightning resist cap without endurance charges up. But, like, anytime I'm fighting, I have endurance charges, so it's fine. And then here's life regeneration rate and regeneration of life rage per second, essentially. This is just a bunch of rage per second. And then we have the good mace wheel with all of that juicy stun and damage goodness. And then this is why Sirus was chilled, the mace mastery that causes all of your damage to chill. So I just basically apply a max chill to everything I touch. And then we path up to Divine Shield, which is the other aspect of, I'm using Burden of Truth, and so I've got a bunch of additional life converted into maximum energy shield, so the character, only has 4,600 life, but has 800 energy shield, and then that 800 energy shield in conjunction with Divine Shield is constantly regenerating. So yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. I just didn't have a ton of time to play this league. Character was fun. Boneshatter is a really good skill. Highly recommend it. It's probably still good even after the nerfs. Like, I wanted to do something cool with the Headhunter. Like, yeah, a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas that we never really got to. So, yeah, that's 319 Lake of Kalandra. And Boneshatter, overall, just play standard Boneshatter. The Kaom Spirit, like, I would do something like Rage Vortex if I had to do it over again. But it was cool to build around, it was fun to play around with things, and try to push the character some, even if it did end up being like a more scuffed version of the sort of standard version of the character. Yeah. Take care, friends. Have a wonderful night.